Hello guys, TavHD here and welcome back to another video, and today I thought I would do something a little bit different and we will be taking a look at all of the Macs I currently own. In the last year or so, the amount of computers I have obtained has gone up quite a lot. I believe I've now got 30 computers or something crazy like that. Now I did do a video like this last year. I did a video about all of my computers, but today we're just going to be doing one about my Macs. I think I have either 15 or 16 now, which is absolutely crazy, so I thought today I would just make a video about them all. And of course the first one is this. This is my mid-2015 15-inch Retina Macbook Pro. It's just a base model with the 2.2 GHz i7, I believe it is the 4770HQ. It's got 16 GB of RAM, the Iris Pro graphics, and 256 GB of flash storage. It is the base model, but it does everything I need it to, and it does it very, very well. This is the computer I use to do all the 4K video editing for this channel. I use Final Cut Pro for that, and it works absolutely fine. However, I'm not sure how much longer I will be able to use this as my main Mac. It's probably the case that the next version of macOS Monterey, will be the last version to be officially supported on this machine. Now I'm still running Catalina, so I'm a couple of versions behind, and I didn't install Big Sur because I was concerned about it slowing down the machine, and now that Monterey is pretty much going to be the last version to be supported, I'm guessing it will slow down quite a lot. Maybe once Monterey comes out I'll give it a go installing it, see how it goes, but I might just go back to Catalina. So if performance isn't too good, then I may have to think about an upgrade. Now day-to-day tasks in Catalina work just fine. When it's first turned on, it takes a little while for it to open applications, but after a while it gets up to speed and is just fine. So for now, this does everything I need it to. Hopefully it can continue to do so for maybe a year or two, but I guess we will just have to see how it goes. So this is the first Mac of the video. So I'm not going to do this in any sort of order. There is my Retina MacBook Pro, and just sat on the desk next to it are two 15-inch Powerbooks. These are both Powerbook G4 aluminiums, and these are the ones which were featured in last week's video. This is the one which I think has a dead drive and possible graphics problems, and this is one of the ones which got mangled in shipping. One of these is a 1 GHz, the other is a 1.3. I don't really know too much about them. They're pretty new acquisitions, and I'm really not too sure what I'm going to do with them. There should be some more videos about them, but after that I'm not too sure. There's not really too much to say about these. These are machines 2 and 3. This is machine number 4. This is the mid-2012 i7 Mac Mini, which I got a couple of months ago. Since those videos, I've not actually done too much with it. My intention is to make it a sort of file server, but I've just not got round to that yet, so that will be something I do within the next month or so, I think. So this is a i7, I believe it's the 2.3 GHz i7, 16 GB of RAM, and I also put an SSD into it. That video was actually quite good, so go and watch that if you haven't seen it. This is still a great machine. It's now 9 years old, but for what I want to use it for file serving purposes, it should do just fine. It's currently connected to my TerraMaster RAID. That will be going. It's just not really working for me. I don't know if that's just because it's not a very good product or because I bought this one off eBay. It's got some problems which weren't described, but anyway, that will be going, and hopefully I can use the Mac Mini for something good. So that is Mac number 4. Okay, so the next few Macs are up on these shelves. I'll do the laptops first, so I'll just get one down at a time and then I will talk about it. Okay, so this is the 2008 first generation MacBook Air. This is of course a very iconic machine, not a particularly good machine in its first few revisions, but this was definitely a game changer when it came to small laptops. I got this off eBay for, I believe, £37. There was a video about this. It was not working because the battery had bulged so much the entire computer was bent. So I took the battery out of it. It somehow managed to go back into the right shape without causing any damage, and it worked just fine. There is of course no battery in it, so it has to be used plugged in constantly, but it works absolutely fine. I believe this is a 1.8 gigahertz processor, and it's got one of those silly little hard drives in the future. I do hope to upgrade this to an SSD. Whether I do that or not, I'm not too sure, because it will be quite a lot of effort, and it might not even give us a speed benefit. I think I would just do it for reliability reasons, considering the drive in this is 13 years old. This isn't in the best of condition, but overall it is pretty decent, and this is such a great little computer. So yeah, I do very much like this little machine. I think it might only have 1 gigabyte of RAM, or it might have 2, I'm not too sure, but this is a very nice little machine, and I think this is Mac number 5. This is Mac number 7. This is a late 2009 polycarbonate MacBook. This is probably one of my favourite design Macs ever. Of course, being plastic, it does crack. This one is starting to crack, and the rubber is coming off the base. So it's not the best looking machine these days, but when it was new, it was very, very nice. This was of course the budget machine that Apple sold. I believe this would have been about £1,000, but even today it still is a pretty nice machine. Despite being a 2009, I did put an SSD in this, which made it quite a lot quicker. It does still only have 2 gigabytes of RAM, but surprisingly that actually is still enough to do basic things like word processing. I have done that on this machine fairly recently. This is running Sierra, so a fairly old OS now, but it still does fairly well for a very old machine. This cost me about £250 4 years ago. I'm not really sure what these are worth now, but I will be keeping a hold of this. One of my favourite designs, and this was my main laptop for a while in 2016. So yeah, this is one I am going to keep. Very nice. I might add some more RAM to this in the future and try and fix the base, as it is kind of letting the machine down, but still in 2021 this is still quite a nice little machine. Alright, next up is something very, very special. This had its own video quite recently, so I won't go into too much depth on this, but this is a mid-2009 Axiotron mod book, and whether you can call this a Mac or not is up to you. I'm going to say that it is, considering it is actually built around an actual MacBook. You can see it there at the bottom and on the sides. Of course, this one was very, very cheap, only £100, because it doesn't work properly, but in the time I've had it, I've not seen any of the problems which the seller described, so maybe this is fully working. If I keep hold of this for a good few years, I'm sure the value of this will go up, because I paid £100. I think selling it for anything more than that would be quite a good profit, but I'm not going to sell this anytime soon. I'm going to keep a hold of it. It doesn't take up much space, and let's just see how the values go in the future. This is a very nice machine. It's in very, very good condition for being 12 years old now. There's a shame about the glue around the sides, but they all seem to have done that, so that's not just a problem with this one. There's probably not many of these in the UK, and who knows how many are left in the world altogether. So this is a very, very special little machine. Now this is Mac number 9, and Mac number 9 makes me sad. This machine as a whole is an absolutely great machine. It's an end of the run 17-inch Powerbook G4, so it has the 1.67 gigahertz G4 processor. This is the best one you could ever buy, and this was the first Mac that I actually bought. It was only £50, which is absolutely amazing. I've seen nice condition ones like this go for £500, £600, £700 on eBay recently, so I probably could get that much for it. That would be if it wasn't for the awful screen that is on here. This has got some awful low quality glossy screen on here, and the hinge is also really loose. That's because when I bought it, it had a smashed screen. I took it to a reputable place to get it fixed, and they absolutely ruined it. That place is now shut down, and after I had this done, all their reviews were 1 star, saying if I could give this place 0, I would. So they really went downhill. They ruined this machine, but I am still on the lookout for a high resolution panel for this machine. So as soon as I can get a hold of one of those, I will probably buy it and put it on this, because this deserves to be good. Again, this is an amazing machine, and it's such a shame that it got ruined. Luckily, everything that was done to it can be reversed, so if I can get the right parts, this should be able to be brought back to life and look good once again. Alright, these are the next 2 Macs. These are both iMacs, and they sit on the top shelf in my office. Of course, this is an Imac G4. I believe it's a 1GHz model. I don't really remember anything else about it, and I'm not going to get it down to find out because it's quite heavy and awkward to carry. I think this is a 15-inch display, and considering how old it is, this thing is in great condition. There's a couple of marks on the front, but it's not yellowed, and it still looks very nice. Now, I didn't actually intend on buying this. There's a video on the channel of when I did first buy it, but eBay just gave me a notification saying that it was ending in 3 minutes. No one had bid on it, so I got it for I think £40 or £50, and even though I've got no use for it, it looks quite nice up here on my shelf. Now, the next machine here is a mid-2010 21.5-inch iMac. This is the desktop computer I used alongside the 2009 MacBook for a while. I believe this is the 3.3 GHz Core i5 model. It's got a 500GB hard drive, and I believe 4GB of RAM. It was a great machine, and it really didn't cost me that much. I probably used it for about a year as my main machine before I got my Retina Macbook Pro. That's a great machine, just a shame I don't really have a use for it today. I did make a video doing video editing on it, and it was pretty slow doing 1080p, but it did eventually do it. So I'm not really sure if I'm ever going to do something with it again, but I don't really want to get rid of it because it is a very nice looking machine. So if you remember, earlier in the year I bought a titanium Powerbook G4, and after that video I got a notification on eBay because I had a search alert set up for Powerbook boxes, and the alert told me that there was a titanium Powerbook box up for sale. Now, I set up the alert to try and find one for an aluminium Powerbook. I completely forgot that I had a titanium Powerbook, so I saw this box on eBay, remembered that I had a titanium Powerbook, and bought it straight away. I've never seen a titanium Powerbook box on eBay since, or ever before for that matter, so I'm guessing these are pretty rare now. It's not in the best condition, but it's better than no box at all. So inside here, as I'm sure you will have assumed, is my titanium Powerbook G4. Now, it's not in particularly good condition, but a titanium Powerbook is a titanium Powerbook. Here it is. It's got no screws holding the bottom on, so it is in pretty rough shape, but it seems to work just fine, apart from the speakers. I've not managed to get the speakers to work yet, but that can be something I try and do in the future. This is such a nice little machine, and it's such a different design compared to the aluminium ones. To think that this was being sold alongside the 12 and 17-inch aluminiums is just quite strange, because it's just such a different design. Of course, all the ports are hidden behind that flap. I really can't remember too much about this machine, so I will, if I can, put the specs on the screen. This is one of the machines where I just bought them and then didn't really do anything with it. I just wanted it to say that I had it, and I'll keep hold of it for a while. I don't think this will ever be worth particularly too much because of the condition it's in, but it's still pretty cool to have. So that just lives inside this box. Now there are a few other Macs which are in boxes, which we will take a look at next. So next up, I can't really say too much about this machine. This is a boxed G4 12-inch. I got this on eBay for an incredibly good price. The seller didn't live too far away, so he came and hand delivered it to me so it didn't get absolutely destroyed in shipping. I have not made a video about this yet, but there will be a full video dedicated to it, hopefully in the next few months. I'm not going to spoil it for now, but I will say everything which would have come with this when it was new is in here, and it is all in very, very good condition. So until I've made that video, this is just going to sit on my shelf. Hopefully there will be quite a few videos about this in the future, but let's just see. So that's all I can say about this computer, but I am counting it as part of my collection. My final boxed Mac is the 15-inch MacBook Pro from, I think it's a 2007. This is the one with the dead graphics. Of course, we fixed it, then tried to explore the machine, then it died again. I might try and fix it again in the future, but I'm not really too sure. I don't think there's much more content I can make out of this, so there's no real point fixing it again because it will just die again. So I'm guessing that this will probably just sit in its box and gather dust. There's not really too much I can do with this machine, but it is in here. I believe this box, yeah, still has its original polystyrene inserts, which the titanium Powerbook box does not. So this machine is just in here. There's no battery in it because it was expanding, and the condition is pretty good for its age. If we open it up, there is the inside. Bit of scuffing going on, but overall pretty good condition for a 14-year-old machine. Of course, it is a shame that these all die, but that is just the way it is. One day they'll probably all be dead, so maybe this will be worth something, but I'm really not too sure. No point throwing it away, so I'll probably just keep it and just see what happens. Okay, we have now left my office for the final few machines. This is the third and final of the Powerbooks which I recently acquired. This, as you can see, is one of the ones which was damaged in shipping. Now what I'm going to do with this machine, I'm not too sure. Whether I use it for parts or whether I try and fix it, I don't know. I believe this is a 1.5 GHz model, although I cannot verify that as I'm not in the operating system yet. It's still on the setup screen, so depending on whether I set that up or not, I guess we either will or won't know what the actual specs are. This is one which has the label over the spec label, so we cannot see what it is. What I do with this yet, I'm not too sure, but I'm sure there will be another video about it at some point. Next is the Imac. Now, this machine was sold to me as not working, but only not working because it didn't have a hard drive. It turns out it does have a hard drive and it boots into Leopard. However, it freezes and it has some strange artifacting on the screen. Now this could just be one of those Emacs which has all those problems and dies, or it might be something else, I'm not too sure. So there will be another video hopefully soon of me troubleshooting this machine, taking the RAM out, seeing if that's the issue, resetting the SMC and that sort of thing, so then we can be more sure as to what the problem is. If none of that stuff fixes it, then I guess it is just one of the Emacs which has all the big problems and just dies. So until then, this machine's just sat on the floor, not really doing much, but a follow-up video to this should be quite soon. Now I think these are the final two machines for this video, and apologies for this awful angle. I cannot get my tripod in to get a better view, but these are my Imac G4 and the 2008 Mac Pro, which I got quite recently. Starting with the G4, I believe it's a baseline 1.8 GHz single core model. It's got, I think, about 2.5 GB of RAM in it, and I did install an SSD a couple of years ago, but I did take that out and put the original drive back in. I don't really use that machine much for anything, but it's quite a nice machine to have. I think I bought it about 5 years ago for £50, and it's still worth probably about the same amount. Now moving on to the Mac Pro. That was of course spares or repair, very dirty. I made the video about that and then did quite a big cleaning session on it, and since that video I haven't touched it again. Now we will be upgrading it, maybe put more RAM in it. There'll definitely be an SSD upgrade. I just need to order the SSD, so that should be coming at some point soon, but I've not touched it since that last video, so whether it still works or not I do not know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So that is it for this video. I think I have covered all of my machines. If I haven't, then I do apologise, but I'm pretty sure that is it, and I have yet again lost count. So I think I will have been keeping a total during video editing. I will put the final total on the screen now. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully it was interesting in some way just to see the machines which I've currently got, and I will see you in the next video, which may or may not be Mac related. Goodbye.